Hi, welcome back or welcome to my channel if you're new. My name is Laura. Hi, hello, welcome. Today, I thought it would be fun to just do a palette bingo using all of my Natasha Denona eyeshadows because my Natasha Denona collection has increased substantially. It's actually the brand that I have the most eyeshadow from now. So there is this. So for my 2022 Pan Those eyeshadows, I really did contemplate with the idea of only circulating in my Natasha Denona shades just because they're so darn expensive and I want to give myself the permission to use them and try to hit pan in them. So I figure why not just do a multi-palette bingo, get some love in some of these eyeshadows that maybe look brand new, and we'll go from there. So I'm just going to run down, like I'm going to pick each palette, just tell you which ones I have. That way you can get an idea. Starting with the smallest palettes first. The first one is actually a pretty darn well-loved palette. This is my Natasha Denona Mini Nude. There's 3 pans of hit in this palette, as you can see, all in the shimmers. Really enjoy this palette. Then I have a palette that Haley had gifted me. This is actually an arrangement of different shadows throughout different palettes. She sent me the Peak and the Ayana palette. Ayana and the Peak palette, which is this casing, had eyeshadows that I had in other palettes. So these are the shadows that I didn't have already. This is my Peak / Ayana palette in here. Then I have one of my oldest, these two were purchased at the same time, the Mini Nude and then this one, which is the Camel palette. This is here. This is the Sunrise palette. Zendo. Love. The Gold. Safari. Green brown. Last but not least, my purple blue. I have every shadow listed out that's in these palettes in a spreadsheet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the numbers in my Pretty Random app really quick, and then we're going to roll for like 5. Let's start with 4. We'll roll the 5th one, like if I feel like the look or if the palette needs it, we'll roll a 5th shadow, but we'll roll for 4 shades that we're going to work on now. I feel like I should do 1 shade for every palette, but I don't know if I can commit to that. That seems pretty daunting, if I'm being honest. This is kind of embarrassing. I have 146 pans of Natasha Denona eyeshadow. We need to use these shadows. We need to use them is what I'm saying. So I have the numbers 1 to 146 in my Pretty Random app. That is the number of eyeshadows that I have from Natasha Denona. So I'm going to just generate number 70. Okay. I might not like this shadow, but that is what it is. Number 70 is going to be this shadow here. This is called Vintage. It's in the purple blue palette. Give it a swatch. Oh, it is dark. I'm nervous. I'm so nervous. Oh, wow. Oh. So the second shade is going to be 105. All right, and that comes from a new palette, and that is my Sunrise palette. I haven't actually dipped into this one before. So number 105 comes obviously from this. It's the shade Morgan, which is this guy right here. So Morgan. It's exciting, right? Ooh, even like those two alone would be like a very unique kind of look. Like I can see it in my head. Number 3 is going to be number 50. Oh, well, we're getting all different palettes, which is kind of exciting. So this looks the same as my purple blue palette, but this is the green brown palette. And we got the shade Aluminum, which is a very metallic silver. So this is going to be a very interesting color story. But I am like intrigued the fact that we haven't gotten any shadow from the same palette. So that is Aluminum right there. This is going to be a very oddball look. The fourth shade is going to be 52. Oh, okay. Well, no, you know what? No, we're going to roll for a different palette. We're just going to do that. So number 12 comes from my Safari palette, and the shade is Fata Morgana, which is the blue. Man, what is up with January wanting me to pan like blue eyeshadows? If you've seen my pan those eyeshadows, I'm panning the dupe version of this from a different palette. But okay then. I am going to pick one more shadow because I truly have no idea what to do with this. But again, we're going to pull it from one of the palettes that we haven't rolled into this yet. So this could take a minute, but we'll try. Maybe it'll be quick. Who knows? 38. Oh, okay. Yeah, 38 is from the gold palette. So we can use that. The shadow is called Alchemist, which is one that I just saw Sophie Alexandra pull in her pan those eyeshadows. Alchemist is this guy. Oh, man. This is, I truly don't know what we're going to do with this. This is going to be a wing it kind of look, and if it turns out like trash, then it turns out like trash. Figure out how to make this work. Help. Okay, so I feel like I gave myself the ultimate curveball, which is I did my base makeup first rather than my eye makeup. So who knows? So the first item I'm going to use is Morgan, which is the quite obvious transition shade out of everything that we have. I really have no idea how I'm doing this look. I'm very nervous. Maybe I shouldn't use that. Yes, I am. Okay, I have an idea of what I'm going to do. Very, very loose. Very, very loose. So I am going to go in with Morgan first. That was from the Sunrise palette. It's that shade right there. And I'm going to put this on the inner crease. Yeah, that's kind of just right in that section. Then the next shadow I'm going to go with is actually that blue in the here. I'm going to go with that guy. That's from the Safari palette. That is Fata Morgana. Man, am I nervous to use this shadow, to be 100% real with you. Very, very nervous. I'm going to take it. This is actually a paintbrush. This is the Artist Loft number 7. It's like the very obvious placement for this, I know. Okay, then I'm going to actually take a little color switch and try to get as much product as I can off of this brush, because I do want to buff with the same brush, but I don't want like any color to like really go all over the place, you know? And we're just going to buff the edges and like buff the whole thing really. Before switching eyes, I am going to just do this just to make sure any product that did get on it is off before I switch eyes. Okay. Then I'm going to go in with Vintage, which was from the purple palette. Now, I'm going to be very surprised if I think it's the bottom one. Vintage, which is that guy right there. Kind of overlapping the outer third, inner third. Not all the way over the blue. Just a little on top. Typically with a shadow like the Vintage, which I'm putting on right now, I would do like an all over smoky kind of look, like just all over, and then I would take something like Morgan and buff out the crease. But since we have so many shadows we're playing with, which I don't mind, we're just gonna do it this way. So because the blue now has gotten lost, I am gonna go back into Fata Morgana and just help blend a little bit, just really lightly, like one tap, that's it. And I'm just going to make sure that that color is still there. It doesn't get lost. So I'm going to take Morgan again and just make sure that the edges are blended. So again, I'm just very lightly going to tap into it. Just again to make sure that that doesn't get too lost in everything. I am going to take Vintage, which was that like plummy kind of tone, and I'm going to just make sure that that doesn't get lost. Like it's all just a delicate act of back and forth to build things up. Just about to wipe it on my pants. We have a color switch now. Thank you, Haley. So there's that. Then I'm going to take the shadow from the Natasha Denona Gold palette, which was Alchemist, that center bottom shade. I'm going to take the brush that I've now cleaned off. Did I just dip my finger into this again? Why am I so horrible at this today? So I'm going to take Alchemist. I am now feeling like aluminum would have been way better. We've committed to this one though. So I am going to probably put something on top of it, but we've committed. So there's that. So I'm color switching my brush again, and we're going to pick aluminum up. And that is going to go right where I put the gold. I'm just layering it on top of the gold. Actually, that's not half bad layered on top of each other. It almost kind of made it, like, in person at least, it's more like champagne kind of color. Like, actually, I was not expecting to like this as much as I do, which is always a pleasant surprise. I am going to take a little bit of Vintage. Actually, I lied. I'm going to take Vintage on the lower lash line, and then we're just going to put the blue. I'm just going to try to blend the blue back up, just because I want the Vintage to show, but I don't necessarily want it to be the star of the show now. So there's that. Ooh. Now I'm going to go back to Fata Morgana and blend the outer corner out a bit more, just so that doesn't get lost. It definitely did. So and the very last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take a clean brush. It's stained blue. It doesn't actually have any eyeshadow on it. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to blend the edges of Fata Morgana, this navy kind of tealy shade, the dark one that we put on. I'm just going to try to blend the edges of that out so it's not a harsh line. And the very last thing I'm going to do is take Morgan again and buff the lower lash line, that shade Vintage. Just buff it out ever so slightly. I'm taking a little bit of my powder concealer, and I'm going to just fix my under eye situation because we are looking fallout heavy right now. This will just help clean up and brighten. Okay. Yeah, that helped the fallouty kind of situation, I feel like, a little bit more. The very last thing I'm going to do is take that shadow from the green brown aluminum. I always want to say aluminium, like how our friends across the pond say it, but aluminum is how us Americans say it. So we're going to pick that guy up inner corner of this bad boy. It's in person it looks a lot darker than I feel like it does on my camera, at least in my monitor. But that is it. I'm gonna real quick go and put like my mascara and everything on, and we'll be right back. I'll see you in a second. That is the finished look for a multi-palette bingo using my Natasha Denona palettes. Let me know what you would have done with a color story like this. If you would have done something similar to what I decided to do today. I don't hate it. I feel it's like definitely very grungy. That like outer corner situation is like super like almost grimy in a way, but I really like it. It's really cool. It looks like when like the colors of a snow cone like melt together and like create like this kind of like plummy burgundy over like in this area that vintage gave. But I really actually kind of like it. I don't know. Who am I? I've been struggling to use blues like that, so this is good inspiration for me. Honestly, good practice, I guess. But yeah, let me know what you would have done with the color story similar to this, or if you have these palettes somehow and want to recreate like what I've done, or something similar. If you have similar shadows to this, I would love if you guys tag me and post on Instagram or in stories if you were inspired with a color story like this. Let me know. But yeah, that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys are staying healthy, sane, and safe, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.